Before we start our program, I would like to express concerns of many of us at the university and many Israelis for the fate of the 200 more passengers on the missing Malaysian airline. And we always hope that the least bad option will be realized in this case, that they will be found. We extend our concerns and sympathies with you. I also want to explain that, as many of you know, our program had to change at the last minute in the sense that the former Israeli ambassador to Russia, Ambassador Anna Azeri, a member of the foreign ministry and a very significant player in looking at the role of Russia in the Middle East from an Israeli perspective, had to cancel because of the work action that the Israeli foreign ministry has undertaken. The organizer of this ambassadorial forum, Ruth Cohen, was just about to sneak out when I say how hard that she worked. And we are very pleased and grateful that a very noted Israeli journalist, Nadav Eyal, has agreed to come in her place and to present his perspective on the role of Russia in the region and how it's changed, particularly from Israeli perspectives. To begin this morning, I have the distinct honor of introducing the new president of Bar-Ilan University. Professor Hershkowitz has recently joined us after a very distinguished career as a mathematician, a very well-known leader of the mathematics community from the Technion in Haifa, Israel's premier scientific and technical institution. Afterwards, he also became involved in the political sphere. He served as the Minister of Science and Technology in the previous government, and perhaps some of you or your colleagues, your predecessors, had a chance to interact with him. He was responsible for, not only in the field of science and technology, but in other areas as well, in terms of trying to introduce various frameworks to repair some of the large gaps in the Israeli social and political system, and has made very important contributions in that area as well. And therefore, many of us at Bar-Ilan feel that he's extremely appropriate candidate to become the president, has become the president selection, the new president of Bar-Ilan. So it's with this honor and appreciation that I introduce Professor Hershkowitz for the first time to the distinguished members of the Ambassadorial Forum.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. What a wonderful view, to see all the flags here. And also behind the flags to see some faces that I know quite well from my previous career as Minister of Science and Technology. But this wonderful set for me really coincides with the real role of university in our world. There are many roles, but this is not only advancing science and technology. I'm not. It wouldn't be earth-breaking news saying that the history of our world is history of conflict. Our world consists of different nations, different cultures, different religions, different languages, different desires, and sometimes conflicting desires. And consequently, as we know, that the history of our world is a history of conflict. Now, there's no way to avoid conflict. There's no way to avoid conflict. First of all, there always will be conflicting desires. But further than that, many of the conflicts, many times develop as a consequence of misunderstanding, and there is no way to avoid misunderstandings. Okay, so there's no way to avoid conflict. But one of the prominent rabbis who lived here about 100 years ago, he in fact established the chief rabbinate here in then Palestine. His name was Rav Kook. He was a very prominent Jewish scholar, and he used to say that there's no way to avoid conflict, but there's a way to handle conflict. And he said that the formula how to handle conflict is in fact written in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis, in the story of Joseph and his 10 brothers. The story in which, in the beginning, the 10 brothers decided to kill their own brother. Finally, they sold him. What a conflict. Say that everything developed because of 4 words. Well, in Hebrew it takes 4 words. In some of the languages it's more than 4 words. The 4 words in Hebrew are Velo Yachlu Davro Leshalom, which translates into they couldn't talk peace. You see, the question is not how to avoid conflict, but how to handle conflict. And the way to handle conflict is by talking. That is the only way you can really handle conflict properly. But there is a problem. You say talking, but sometimes there is no common language. But here, I can employ my own experience. I'm a mathematician, as I was saying before, and I used to cooperate with mathematicians from all over the world. Many of the people here represent countries where I have colleagues I used to cooperate with. In some cases, for example, I cooperated with Chinese mathematicians. I must say, I don't speak Chinese. They didn't speak Hebrew. Even English could hardly consider to be a common language. But when we spoke mathematics, we understood each other. The language that bridges over gaps, over differences between nations, between cultures, between religions, between people, the language that can really be understood by all is the language of science. In my opinion, the ultimate language that really can make the bridge. The ultimate language that can be the language of peace, that's the language of science. And when we conserve science, it's really a win-win-win situation. It's not only that the two direct sides benefit from that, but all world benefit from that. As such, I think that universities play a very important role in being really the place for bridge between different people. And in that context, this also coincides with my vision of the University of Bar-Ilan, because my aim is to turn Bar-Ilan into an international university. The idea is really to develop its international programs, to offer more and more of our programs in English, so they will be accessible to students from other countries, to develop our relationships with universities and institutes all over the world, whether it is in exchange programs, in exchange of students, in exchange of researchers, and as I said, also to pull our gates, to open our gates for students that would like to get their degrees, because there are certain things in which we are in a leading position in the world of science. I really see this, the importance of such a meeting, of ambassadors here in the university is really, one cannot exaggerate about talking the importance of this. Because as I say, this is really the key, maybe the ultimate key for cooperation between nations, for turning our world and our society into a better place. As such, I feel very honored, very privileged to be here with you. And in fact, I would love to be here with you all day long. The only thing that I have to apologize, there's one one thing which is stronger than promoting peace in our world, is to live peacefully with the Senate of the university. And the Senate of the university convened, in fact, in this building, about two floors upstairs. And if the president is absent from the Senate, God knows which decisions that they can take. Okay, so I really apologize for that. I really, I must say that my heart and my mind is here with this wonderful conference, and I really view it as this initiative. I'm sure that will continue and will develop and will bloom. And I'm also looking forward to, we'll have to make, my staff will have to make the appropriate plan, but I really hope to visit in each of the countries that are represented here, and to see in any ways, all the ways that we can really promote our relationships, our scientific relationships, and of course the reflection of our total relationship. Thank you very much. Have a very fruitful day. Thank you.